Ram on, give your heart to somebody soon, right away.
Hi fans of high quality entertainment, apologies for that, I didn't know I was recording. Now, I love Paul McCartney. I love almost everything he's done in his solo career. And Ram, his second album with Linda McCartney, of course, and Denny Sewell and others. It is my favorite Paul McCartney album of all time, along with Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. They're kind of almost tied, but if I had to choose, Ram would be number one. And about 4 years ago, I ranked the songs on Ram. And I thought it was about time I did it again. And at the end of this video, you'll see how much they've changed. And I think there's at least one song that's really moved up in my rankings. I'm kind of curious. I haven't seen the video yet, but I'll show the ranking from the video 4 years ago. And I think that particular song was pretty low, I think. So I love this, this very heavy, it's not that heavy. This box set of Ram is one of my favorite box sets. And some really nice photos included of Paul and Linda. What's that? Yes, I'll get to the ranking. Just give me a second. There's always somebody out there. I love this photo here. You know, you do, you know, even in this time, he was still, I think, getting over the Beatles. You know, he was coming out of it a bit with Linda's help, of course, but he was still, I think, kind of down. I guess you would be too if you were in the Beatles and then they broke up. And I found the little comment that Ringo made years ago, so I'm hoping that maybe he's changed his opinion on this album. But in a conversation about his former bandmates, Starr said that some of Lennon's solo songs were just incredible and Harrison's All Things Must Pass was sensational. There are so many great tracks on it, good tracks and so much work. He was nowhere near as kind when discussing McCartney's album Ram. He said, "I feel sad with Paul's albums because I believe he's a great artist, incredibly creative, incredibly clever, but he disappoints me on his albums." And at that time, he'd only released 2. Starr said, adding, "I don't think there's one tune on the last one, Ram. I just feel he's wasted his time. It's just the way I feel. He seems to be going strange." And Ram was a critical disappointment as well. As years have gone by, however, opinions of the album have shifted and critics have praised it. Some wonder if the harsh reviews McCartney received from his former bandmates had more to do with their broken relationships than the album's quality. You know, they were all going through their different pain levels with the breakup. So, if I ever interview Ringo on this channel, I'll ask him, what do you think of Paul McCartney's Ram now? And one more thing, on Rate Your Music, where fans all over the world, they rate and review all these albums. Of Paul's whole discography, Ram is at number 1 with a 3.98 rating out of 5. Band on the Run is at 2 with a 3.88. Chaos and Creation, The Backyard, is at 372 at number 3. Then Flaming Pie at 3.63. And his first album, McCartney, is at 3.45. Even Driving Rain, that's in 10th spot at 3.26. So there are 12 songs, and I'm going to put number 12 and number 11 together because they are both called Ram On. So number 12, Ram On, is the shorter version. It's under a minute long. It's kind of like a reprise of the longer version. Number 11 is the fuller version of Ram On, which I love, the ukulele and everything. It's a really nice song, very cute. Number 10 is Dear Boy, with the glorious production, you know, the Beach Boys type harmonies and everything, and of course props to Linda McCartney, the whole, you know, Denny Sewell, all of the musicians that played on the album, including Paul McCartney. It's just the whole album, the way it's produced, is just like a masterpiece to me. And I don't understand why Paul McCartney doesn't produce himself all the time. Like, he doesn't need these outside producers, as far as I'm concerned. Except for maybe with Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. So, you know, where I'm sure, I know that producer was saying, that's not good enough, Paul. So maybe he does need a co-producer. But I'm just saying that he's an excellent producer on his own. Number 9, I feel, would have fit perfectly on the Beatles' White Album. Heart of the Country. Really nice acoustic number. Number 8, Long-Haired Lady. I know some people think it goes on for maybe a minute too long at the end and kind of drags. I don't feel that way. Like I said, when I listen to headphones, it's just the production. And there's little things that I notice every time I listen to it. The whole album, actually, like there's always, it's kind of like the Beatles, right? There's certain bands, you get tired of the songs after a few listens, and then there's the Beatles, which I never get tired of hearing, and this album, especially by Paul, I never get tired of, because every time I listen to it, I pick up something a little newer. Oh, I didn't notice that last time. Number 7 is Three Legs, a really, really silly song. But, you know, Paul did these kind of songs in the Beatles. Not that everybody loved all of his silly songs, but he's always done silly songs, and that's one of the silliest on the album. Number 6 is Eat at Home, a really upbeat, catchy song with maybe some sexual undertones or overtones. Number 5, one of his greatest vocals ever is Monkberry Moon Delight. I guess that is, you know, talking about silly, that would be probably one of the silliest songs he's ever written. But he just tears into it, and I don't know how he did it, and his throat must have been a little sore by the end of that. But it is a great song. A silly song, but a great one. Now, number 4. Probably 4 years ago when I ranked it, it wasn't number 1, but it was possibly number 2. But before that, for many, many years, it was my favorite song on Ram. Too Many People. It's still a great song, but I just have 3 others that have grown in stature in the past few years. Number 3 is the one that has really gone up in the rankings for me, and just probably in the last half year or so. It is Smile Away, a song that I never even really, I thought, you know, once again, it was a stupid lyrics, but it is a great rock song, and Paul's bass on it, and you know, smile away quietly now, smile away horribly now, and they get all heavy. I love that song. And then number 2, which is probably, I think it would be most people's number 1. It is the very popular Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. Even John Lennon liked that song, at least the Hands Across the Water section. But there can only be number one. And this song, like I'm really curious if it was number one 4 years ago, because it was just while I was here in the last 10 years that I realized, oh my God, this song is way better than I thought it was. I never used to care for it that much. The Backseat of My Car. I think it has Paul's best vocals ever. It's just a masterpiece of a production. And like I said, credit to Linda McCartney and Denny Sewell and any of the musicians that played on this album. It is, for me, one of the greatest albums ever. And so I'd be really curious for your rankings in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and have a great day. And tomorrow I'm going to be posting a Sparks interview. I was talking to 3 other Sparks fans for an hour, and I did that yesterday, and so I'm going to be posting it on Monday. So check that out. Thanks for watching.